Schools taught us to be competitors. When I'm talking about these schools, this is just a mirror of what is happening in most of the schools in Africa, because we live in a competitive environment. Our education system, our majority of our education system, is it driving people to be winners in life, or is driving us to be losers because we cannot work together? School taught us to be divided. It's time to unify, time for unity, time for more collaborations, and you can build the businesses which you want and the Africa which you are going to dream of. Greetings Africa, greetings Zimbabwe, greetings Zambia, greetings Angola. Welcome to the Chartered Vendor Podcast. My name is Jerry Monya Zungu, aka the Chartered Vendor. I'm super excited that the book Why African Businesses Die Young is finally out and it's on demand. I'm happy with the support, especially coming from South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Zambia. And I'm super excited. We are also launching the book on the 22nd of August in Zambia. But today, I want to talk about an issue. This is a thorn issue. I wrote about it on my Facebook. It got a lot of engagement. Many people were posting the same matter in my WhatsApp inbox. So it's about how schools have destroyed collaboration. And now we have a lot of competitors who don't know where to end the competition. If you notice, when we're young, personally, I went to a school called Nyakatsapa, and we're pushed. You're supposed to be number one. You're supposed to be in top 10. Yes, that was good. I got into a school called Marist Brothers Nyanga. That's when I saw what is called intensive competition, because why? It was competition on everything. I remember that even getting food in the dining room, it was very difficult, especially during tea. Those who went to school with me, they can actually testify. Form 1, Form 2, it was very difficult to drink tea because of competition. Someone would come, they would just grab the whole teapot and everything, and to actually get only 15 minutes, and you'd celebrate if you drink tea. I think I started drinking tea actually in my third time, I think. Then competition didn't end there. In sports, it was also competition. I still remember, because I was a basketball player, and in Form 2, I had to push myself to get into a basketball team. Coming from the rural areas, were the ones who actually nicknamed the SRBs, strong rural background. And it was still competition as well, because people the guys from Harare, the guys from Chitungwiza, the guy from the city, from Mutare, they would feel superior than those from the rural areas. So I pushed myself, got into the first team, and it was not easy getting to the first team, the junior team. It wasn't easy, but I pushed myself into the first team. Why? Because if you don't get into the first team, there's no recognition. You are not seen as a person. You're just nobody. So, but where I noticed intense competition was actually in education. Marist, up to now, they're still ranking very high. Don't get me wrong, this school actually trained me to be bold. It trained me to be a go-getter. It trained me to wake up early. It trained me to be a hustler. I don't accept defeat easily. It was all because of Marist Brothers. But get this side of Marist Brothers. I still remember in Form 1, on the second month, if I'm not mistaken, there was what was called 0 hour. 0 hour was when every Form 1 was supposed to go for a test, midterm test, and after being tested, we were supposed to actually ranked from number 1 up to number last. I remember the guy who became number 1 was Nkonizashe Zuze, and Nkonizashe Zuze was always number 1, I think up to A level. Then there was a guy called Ronald Guarada. He was the one who was the last, and I was around 30s that time. So the 0 hour is done. Marist was a competition. Always it was about competing. Now, who is number 1, who is number 2, who is number 3, who is number 4. That was good. until when I left Marist Brothers at Form 4, got into Hartzell with my competitive mind. I got it at Hartzell. It was still the same. People would compete. Who is the best in mathematics? Who is the best in MOB? Who is the best in accounts? Competition continued. Sports, it was competition. Who was going to get, because Marist was a boy's eyes. That's why competition was really rife. And also, if you look at it, Marist and Hartzell, we also had serious competition in terms of even girls. Because we'd go to Bonda, Christy Mambo. When you get into Bonda, you were forced to just speak to ladies. Because why? If you don't speak to any lady, people would call you a golfer. They'll say, you're nobody. And a golfer, why a golfer? A golfer, it's one hole, one stick, one ball. So they would call you a golfer to say you're afraid of ladies. So people would compete even getting letters, especially at Marist Brothers. Why am I talking about Marist? Because that's where I spent most of my... That's where I developed to be who I am. And people would compete to the extent that some of the people would actually write themselves letters because they want to receive a lot of letters from ladies. And the assumption was the letters were coming from ladies. Other guys would get even 10 letters. And was not a crime. We're competing. When I'm talking about Marist, when I'm talking about Hartzell, same thing. People are competing. Who has got a model, who is dating a model, etc. But here now, where the catch is, schools taught us to be competitors. When I'm talking about these schools, this is just a mirror of what is happening in most of the schools in Africa. Because we live in a competitive environment. We like to compete. But I just want to say, if it was okay, it was going to be okay if we knew where the competition was supposed to end. But right now, we now have guys who are in their 30s, guys who are in their 40s, who are still competing. And now, they are now competing in real life. Because that was school. Now we are now living and we are still competing. Who is driving the best car? Who is dressed in the most expensive suit? Who is driving a latest car? Who is actually owning a house in the leafy suburbs? Where are they actually working? Which title do you have? Are you a director? Are you a CEO? So the question is that necessary to compete in this real life? Who is actually married? Former model, Miss Malaika, Miss Universe. Is that necessary to compete in real life? Even in businesses, I've noticed people, they like to compete. Who is actually owning a property? Who is owning this? People are still competing. But what I think is the spirit which we had in schools, in real life, we need what is called collaboration. Because we can actually make it if we collaborate. What I'm saying is, right now, we've got 10 companies which are into construction. If they are going to tender individually, they are most likely to lose that tender. But if they collaborate, 10 of them tendering for that for that construction job, they'll win. Because there's power in numbers, there's power in unity, there's power in collaboration. So even up to now, why am I particularly mentioning Marist Brothers probably and Hartzell? It's because even up to now, people, they see that if Jerry is going to be successful, if a brother is going to be successful, who was formerly from Marist Brothers, instead of us seeing it as an opportunity, if you've got a guy who is now at the helm of RBZ, a guy probably who is now occupying a top post in government, it's a chance for everyone from our former school to be successful. So I'm talking about Marist. Now, I'm not talking about business, and I'm going to be talking about St. George's. So, I had a chance to meet these guys from St. George's. How did I meet these guys? There's an industrial park which is in Harare, in Pomona area. In this industrial park, there are only white-owned businesses. And one of my colleagues has a business there, but is black. And this guy actually, when I asked him, but why are you the only one who is black here? And he said, your analysis and your observation is actually right. I'm the only one who is black. And initially, these guys didn't even want me to be here. But I only got in because we went to the same school at St. George's. And we were playing rugby together. That's how I got here. So these are guys, former schoolmates, who are united and they're actually running businesses. How do they run their businesses? If someone is into construction, everyone who is the industrial park, actually, when they're building a house, when they're building their businesses, they only support the guy who is doing construction in that park. If everyone wants consultants, they will all go to their former colleague who is actually doing consultants. That's how they are supporting each other, is people who are coming from the A schools. So when I'm talking about A schools, I think even this country, I've never had, when you're comparing results, you always see Nyanga High on top, Bonda, Christy Mambo, St. Augustine, St. Faith. But you never see these schools like Peterhouse, St. George's, Loma Gundi. Because these ones are being taught about life. They are being taught how to collaborate. They are being taught how to control the industry. They are being taught that relationships matter. They are being taught that your colleague in school can be your colleague in businesses. I wonder, yes, I know some of the guys, but I wonder if the guys who are formerly from Hartzell, Marist Brothers, St. Augustine's, those who are running businesses, thumbs up, very good for you guys. But I'm talking about the majority. We actually see each other as competition. We see each other as rivals. Even at 50 years, people are still competing instead of us collaborating. I tell you, with the smartest brands I saw at Marist Brothers, if those guys are going to collaborate, I tell you, they can influence the politics of this country. They can influence the economics of this country. They can influence anything. They can get whatever they want because the guys were smart and the guys were highly educated. But what is missing is there's no sense of collaboration. There's no sense of unity. We see each other as rivals. So the question is, our education system, our majority of our education system, is it driving people to be winners in life? Or is driving us to be losers because we cannot work together? When we get into partnership in business, they easily break. Because why? We're not taught how to collaborate. We're taught how to compete. Even if we are in a partnership, 2 of us or 3 of us, if I bring a big deal, I don't see as if everyone participated. I now want all the accolades. I want all the recognition. That is what is actually killing us, even in our lives. To the tune that I actually consulted for this company, whereby the husband and wife, they are still they are competing. Who is supposed to be the CEO? Is he supposed to be the wife? Is he supposed to be the husband? So is competition really necessary? Even in churches, people are competing. Who has got most of the congregations? We are still competing at church level, life level, even country level. That's why politics in most of these countries, especially in Africa, politics will never leave us. Every day, people are always politicking. Instead of building the country, we are always talking about politics. Because why? We're taught to always compete. Even as African countries, we cannot unite as 54 states to have one voice. Because when Zambia is down, when the Kwacha was down, Zimbabwe was laughing. When right now Zimbabwe is down, Zambia will be laughing. So that sense of competition, sense of saying we're supposed to be the number one country. Imagine if you're going to have the United States of Africa, where we've got our own currency, where we can actually bid when we are Zimbabwe only, when we are South Africa only. Yes, the voice of South Africa only is never going to be heard as compared to the voice of 54 states, Kenya, Egypt, Togo, Rwanda, Malawi, Zambia, united together as one people, as one Africa. Let us remove these boundaries. School taught us to be divided. It's time to unify, time for unity, time for more collaborations, and we can build the businesses which you want and the Africa which you are going to dream of. So This is what I have today, guys. So thank you so much. I know that 69% of the people are not subscribing. You are watching, but you're not subscribing. Please support us by subscribing to this channel. And also remember, there's a bell there which will notify you when we are now premiering our videos. So thank you so much for watching. You can comment, you can share. Let us discuss. If you think otherwise, come in. Let us compare what is really happening at St. George's and what is happening at Maristi Brothers Nyanga. What's the difference? Some are actually getting 25 points. Some are actually getting contacts. They are getting a contact of the CEOs, the contacts of the ministers. So when you're sending your kid to school, would you rather send them to get 25 points? Or would you rather send them to get collaborations? Thank you so much, guys. Until next time, it's Jerry Monya Zungu, the Chartered Vendor, out.